Hello my friends, Dave Schramm here of ShrammGuitars.com, and today we're going to look at how I glue the back reinforcement strip onto the back of a guitar. Let's go check it out. So here we have the back and the reinforcement strip that we saw in another video on how I make these. It's about 18 millimeters wide, 2 millimeters thick. That's the size I've been using pretty much for the last 30 years. And then I'm going to use this, I actually have a video on this glue jig here that was, I saw on Marshall Brunet's channel. So it works really well. I really enjoy using it. We're going to use that to install the back reinforcement strip. Okay, so I got the Brunet style glue clamp guillotine here that we're going to use. Got the back center strip, got my hide glue here, and we're ready to go. Hide glue's got a really good tack, so once you put it on there, it sticks. See, it's sticking on my finger here. Lift up the guillotine. That's right. And now what I'm going to do is just push this down and insert these wedges. There we go, all set. In a few minutes I'll clean up that glue, squeeze out, and then let this dry. Okay, it's been a few minutes now, and I'm gonna clean up some of the glue squeeze out here. Got a little scraper. I get in there, scrape that out. There we go. The other side. Go. All done. Now it's just going to dry. Okay, it's been about 2 hours. That's plenty of time to unclamp this. So I push down on my clamp, pull my wedge out, push down, pull the wedge out. little bit of excess glue here. This will peel right off. Anyway, there we go. We got the back strip on there. So now I'm going to shape this and I'm going to install the braces. Okay, now that I've got the center strip on there, I'm now going to use this little plane here to round over the center strip. Getting about a 45-degree cut here. Now I will get some tear out at the end because of the grain direction. That's okay, this is extra long here. That's going to be cut away anyway. It's going to be cut away for the heel, for the foot of the neck. Just about got it. So we're going to do these 45s on each side here. There we go. Might come in from the other side. Protecting the face of this with this drawer liner. Stuff works really good. There we go, that looks good. I'm gonna do the other one, other side. Oops. Don't do that. That's good. Don't do that either. One of these days I'll get a different flame and modify it for this job. This is the one I've been using for about 25 years. One of my online apprentice students many years ago made me a couple of these. Online Apprentice was a guitar building school that I did online around 1999 or early 2000s, and after that online course we built a Hauser and a Miguel Rodriguez style guitar and turned it into a CD-ROM, which I still have. I probably need to update it into a ebook. I still sell the CD-ROM. There's actually a link down below that you can look at and you can get that. There's no video, it's all just basically the web pages from that course. Okay, so I got the little 45s in there. Don't know if you can see that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to round it over a little bit. And then I'm going to sand this. Just rolling this over towards the center. There we go. The the other side now. Hard to see on the video, but it's starting to roll over here. Now I'm going to take some sandpaper and finish that up. Okay, I'm taking some 220 grit and just sanding all the facets from my plane cuts. And now I'll do some 320. That's looking pretty good. Okay. Next, we're going to slot the back reinforcement for the braces. On my braces, I used a 15-foot radius, and I use this old LMI brace radiusing jig. I don't know if Stu Mack now carries this, but LMI is no longer in business. So I have my 3 mahogany back braces. First, what I do, I take my hand plane and I put an arch in these. And then I take each one of these braces. This has some 80 grit sandpaper on it. And I run it along this piece here, this fence, and then the sandpaper is here. And that gives me a nice radius brace, and I can check it with the back part here. So my 3 braces, I usually go from the back, let's move it this way, from the tail end here, I go 5 inches to this brace, which is about right there. I'm just laying this out. I'll measure it later. And then from this one to this one, I go another 5, and then another 5 inches for this one here. Okay, so I'll show you that step next. The back reinforcement strip is already set to go. I have my 3 back braces here. Let's see. That one goes there. Yeah, that one's gonna go there. Got to number them so I know which one's which. So this is my number 1. It's gonna be my number 2. And my number 3. 3 is kind of obvious. Now, so the layout for my braces, first of all, the height of my brace for now is about 17 millimeters. This is going to get planed down later, and you can see it matches the radius. I use a 15-foot radius on my backs, and it's cut, so I put this on the bandsaw, run it through here, and the bandsaw blade makes perfect 17 millimeter cut. So you see how it's curved. Okay. The width that I use is 9.5 millimeter width. I think it's about 3/8 of an inch in width. width there. Okay. I mark my back. I've already marked it, but I'm just going to show you here at 5 inches from the tail, 5 inches, 10, and 15, which is about the widest part here, and then just slightly below the waist here. So if you do 5, 10, and 15, you'll be fine. Been doing that for a long time. I think I got that from John Gilbert. That's what I believe he was doing on his guitars, and I learned a lot from him when I used to visit his shop. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a square and I'm going to find that line, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this chisel here, Pattern Maker's chisel, and actually I want it to go, I'm going to turn it around this way. So I find my mark using the edge of the back graft or the back reinforcement with my square. I cut that line, find the next one. Try not to cut into the back. So I've got that established. The reason why I switched this around was so that the flat end of the chisel is on this side, because this is going to be on this side of the brace. So I don't want the bevel to be on going this way, then it won't be flush. So that's why I moved it around there. Okay, now I got to cut the other one. So what I'm going to do there, get this back lined up here. Holding my brace there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to score it with my knife here, my marking knife. I got that one. These are all the same, so I'm just using the same brace for all of these. Got that one marked. They're all the same thickness because they all came off of my Gilbert thickness sanding disc. So they're exactly the same. Okay, so I have the lines marked with my marking gauge. So now I'm going to come back with my chisel here. I just scored the surface. That's all I did with that. Oop. There we go. Take my Wood River 1/4 inch dogleg chisel and I'm do a bevel cut to one cut, and then to the other side here. There we go. Sometimes they gotta watch your grain direction here. Cut that from this direction. What I'm doing now is I didn't use a saw, so it didn't go all the way through to the very back, so sometimes you have to recut the line with your chisel, get it deeper. There we go. Almost there. All right. Sometimes I'll take the blade and just kind of like use it as a scraper. And just about got it. Here's my number 3. Yep. There we go. It's a little tight, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my scraper. Actually, here. I think all it needs. Yep. There we go. It's a pretty tight fit. But what I'm gonna do use my scraper to dial that in. Still a little bit tight. There we go. That's it. Got it. So I'm going to do that to the rest of the braces. Then I'm going to glue it up. Well, here's the back with the braces all fitted. And I used a square here along the brace, and then I made some lines on the back to line up my brace. Did that on both ends for all the braces, so that when I put it in the go bar deck and glue it all up, I know exactly where they need to be. So my next step is I'm going to put these in my go bar deck, use the hide glue, and glue the braces on. I'm now getting ready to glue the braces on. Some of the stuff you can't see, it's really tight in here, so my glue pot's right here. Can't really see it, it's off camera I think. And so I'm going to go ahead, I'm using my go bar deck. Some bars are going to come down. You're going to see me put those on here. Some sticks that these will clamp everything on. So check my hide glue. Looks good. Bar. There we go. And let's do a couple more. One there, and another one here. Next brace. These are 3/8 inch dowels. I bought about 35 years ago or more from Orchard Supply Hardware when they were in business. Built over 400 guitars with these. It's looking good. Last one. go. All done. Now I'll clean up the glue squeeze out and let it dry. So here is a view of the Go Bar deck. It's collapsible, so I can just tear it down if I need to. There's the braces being glued up. And in a few minutes I'm going to clean up the glue squeeze out. So the sticks in the Go Bar deck create the downward pressure to clamp everything. All right, the back braces are all glued on, and what I've done is I have planed these so that they are a thickness. I went down to 14 millimeters, or which is about 550 thousandths in height. And now I've drawn a center line. Now what I'm starting to do is take my hand plane, try to get in focus there, and I've drawn a little gable type shape on there. And I'm gonna start hand planing to that to lighten the weight of these back braces. Now have the braces all profiled and everything, and sanded down to 320. And now what I've done is I've marked two and a quarter inches from the outline of the back to here. That's 2 1/4. And we're now going to scallop these ends. Now what I use is one thing I use is this 1/4 inch nut file. That's going to be where I'm going to scallop to. So I'll put this on here, and then I'll take pencil and I'll pencil a line on there, which you can see here. So now my scallop is going to go from here to that point on the brace. So that's what I'm going to do at this point. So I got my 1-inch pattern maker's chisel, and I'm going to approach those lines with my scallop. As I get close to that 1/4 inch line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 1/4 inch nut file here, put it right next to the brace, and then when I hit it, I know I got the right thickness. There we go. I can move on to the next one. Now this one has a little bit of grain that I'm cutting into, so what I might have to do is go from the other direction. Yep. It's just settled, but it's enough that I have to go this other way. line. There we go. Yep, that's it. There we go. So I'm going to do that for the rest of the braces. All right, the back is now complete. I've sanded everything to 320 and used some 4/0 steel wool. You can see that the ends are all scalloped there. And now I'm going to fit this to the body of the guitar. Well, there you go. That's how I make the backs on my guitars, how I glue up the back center reinforcement and my braces and scallop them and get it ready to go on to the back or the, the sides of the guitar. All right, thanks for watching. Everyone have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.